good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome and thank you for joining us at our Innovation Thursday event. Once again, this is the second time we're doing it in 2 weeks and we are doing it virtually. Okay, Innovation Thursday is a series of events put together by innovation team here at IMDA for the purpose of bringing together innovators like yourself to access business opportunities on the OIP and make connections with potential partners. Since last week, we've been holding this Innovation Thursday event virtually because of this COVID-19 situation. So it's been going well so far. So here we are again. So you can stay home and stay safe while we have this event, all right? Today's event is a second in the series of four Innovation Thursday events. In this particular innovation call, all right, which is the customer experience edition. The next ones are scheduled for 30th April and 14th May as well. Today, we are privileged to have problem owners from BCA, CDL, E3 Sports, Soil Built Construction, and one of Asia's largest MNCs to share about their challenges and that they have put up on the Open Innovation platform, which I'm sure most of you have already signed up for and are members of right now. But first, let us present to you a short video of the OIP process and introduce to you what it is all about.
The economy of the future is digital and innovation will be a key driver. So how do we accelerate the pace of innovation and digitalization to give our enterprises a competitive edge? The Open Innovation Platform, or OIP, is an initiative by the IMDA. It is a virtual platform that connects and matches challenges of problem owners such as SMEs, large enterprises and government agencies to a pool of problem solvers with different expertise. This is Sarah. She is the Chief Innovation Officer of Company A. She would like to find innovative digital solutions to address her company's business challenge. She discusses her challenge with an IMDA officer and explains what she's looking for. IMDA then helps to launch Sarah's challenge through the OIP, allowing her to access a diverse pool of ideas and technology expertise immediately. Problem solvers around the world can see Sarah's challenge on the OIP, and those with the right capabilities for Sarah's challenge apply through the portal. Sarah and IMDA jointly evaluate, shortlist, and select the best solution from Company Y. Eric is the founder of Company Y. He works with Sarah to turn his idea into a working prototype that is demonstrated and tested in Sarah's facility. Sarah is happy with the successful prototype and awards Eric with prize monies. Sarah and Eric partner to commercialize the solution and roll it out across Southeast Asia. Sarah increases the productivity of a company's operations, while Eric scales up his product successfully with this new customer reference. With the Open Innovation Platform, we have an innovation ecosystem that is always open for all enterprises, large and small. Join us on the Open Innovation Platform.
All right, that was the video for our Open Innovation Platform to give you an overview of what it is and the processes involved. I hope the video was able to give you a good overview of the OIP process. For those of you who are entirely new to this or curious to know more, we have with us today Manchong, Senior Manager, Innovation and Ecosystem Development from IMDA to explain more. Manchong, please.
Hi, a very warm welcome to everybody. For those of you who participated last week, welcome back. And for those of you who are joining new, welcome back as well. If you can't see my screen, perhaps you could just click on the top right-hand corner. There's a speaker view. So this will enlarge your screen and you'll be able to see the slides that I'm sharing. Yeah. Okay, just to add on to the video. So essentially, this open innovation platform started in 2018. We grouped together all the problem owners 3 times a year to launch what we call an innovation call. So to date, we have launched 123 challenges. We have had $3.6 million in prize money. There are more than 6,500 solvers in our database. And the whole idea is to match problem owners with problem solvers. Because many a times we recognize that for problem owners, they have a difficulty in finding the right vendor, the right solution, the right partner at the right price. So therefore, this is why we put together this initiative by IMDA. So here's how it works. So essentially for all the challenges that have been hosted on our platform, the scope is limited to a proof of concept or a prototype. So the way it works is that problem owners, they will put up prize money for each challenge, which is awarded to the solvers directly, only if there's a winning solution that matches the criteria. So this means that the problem owners would not be able to pay, the problem owners would not need to pay any fees for participating in the OIP, unlike other commercial platforms. Okay. So for the other government agency problem owners who are on board as well, and also this is interesting for problem solvers. So government agencies that participate, they will be able to award the projects directly and also have spiral contracting for the problem solvers. So which means to say there is no need to conduct another tender once they reach full-scale implementation. Yeah. So here are some examples of the past challenges that the list of companies that have participated in our past challenges. If you notice on top, there are the 3 trade associations, followed by government agencies on the top row. And even on the bottom row, you will have companies like Singapore Airlines, Sompo, and Polar, which have participated multiple times with multiple problem statements. So obviously they see the value in this platform, in being able to reach out to all the problem solvers. All the problem solvers on this platform would also have a fair chance to submit their proposals to all these companies that are on the lookout for them. So here is a brief outline in terms of the process for the OIP platform. So it is a guided process that we bring problem owners aboard. Typically, it starts from the preparation phase, where in the preparation, IMDA will guide the problem owners, have a half-day problem refinement workshop to come up with a challenge brief, which is what you see published online. Followed by, once the call is launched, there is a time of between 8 to 10 weeks for the problem solvers to come on board and listen to some of the problem owners speak, such as these events on Innovation Thursdays, as well as to post questions. And the closing date for the submission of proposals for this current call is on 5th of June. So please submit your proposals by then. Once the call closes on 5th of June, so the problem owners are guided on a 2-stage evaluation process. So it's important for problem solvers to also note that during this evaluation process, what you will be evaluated on. So just to share with you, there are 2 stages. The first stage is online scoring, which is on the screen. So there are 4 main criteria. So solution fit, solution readiness, solution advantage, and also company profile. So the default weightage for this is 25%. And all proposals are scored from a score of 1, which is the lowest, to 5. So problem owners will be able to assign maybe 2 or 3 different people to score these challenges. And once they are scored, the top 5 or the top 6, whichever that the problem owner wishes to, will call these shortlisted companies, problem solvers, for a face-to-face interview. But in this case, it will be video conferencing. Okay. So the next, followed by that, would be the finalist selection. So once a finalist is being selected, so there will be individual contracting between both the problem owners and the problem solvers. Once the contracting is done, 30% of the prize money will be given to the problem solver to commence the POC or prototype. So this will be a paid POC or prototype. This contract should also include all the milestones involved in the project. And once all the milestones are hit, the balance 70% should be given to the problem solvers by the problem owners. So at this point, I think it's important to note that there are cases where two finalists are being awarded and one eventual winner who will win the balance 70%. There are also cases whereby, for example, if the problem owner does not find any suitable solution, then of course the journey ends there for the problem owner. So that's it. I think we always get a lot of questions from problem solvers about the status. So be rest assured that we will stay on top of things and we will update all the problem solvers who have submitted all your proposals online. Thank you very much. Please continue to support this program and participate and submit your proposals. Now, this slide is basically for problem owners. So for problem owners, there are 4 key things that I guess will be of value to you on this program. So for all problem owners who participate, we will always do, as in IMDA, will always conduct a problem refinement workshop. So this is to help refine the problem statement, followed by a video production, which is what you saw prior to the start of this program. Next time, please log in earlier at about 1:45 to see all the videos from all the problem owners. You can also view them on the platform as well. Followed by Innovation Thursday events, which IMDA will also pitch and market these problem statements to all the problem solvers. And lastly, IMDA will also scout and curate problem solvers for the problem owners. So essentially, the solvers on the other hand, they will also receive capabilities and support during development. Most notably, it will be infrastructure, development, legal and IP advisory, business mentorship, and also, yeah. So this is a picture of some of the facilities on our 25,000 square foot innovation space. It acts as a physical catalyst to ideate and experiment and build customer-centric digital products and experiences. So unfortunately, due to the COVID situation right now, this facility is closed. But eventually, when the worst blows over, we will reopen these facilities for our problem solvers as well. Now, IMDA also does a number of development workshops, consultancy, and extended coaching for customer-centric digital experiences, mainly focusing on design thinking, UI UX, digital storytelling, and immersive experiences. So this is a screenshot of the platform for those of you who have not signed on yet. Okay, so it lists out all the various challenges. You will need to register to access all the details of the challenges. The last point which I would like to just highlight is for problem solvers who have questions for problem owners, please log on to the platform and then scroll to the bottom of the challenge itself. There is a forum. So if your questions are not answered during this session, please go to this platform, post your questions, and we will make sure that the problem owners would answer them in a timely manner. So the whole purpose of this is to share some of the questions which maybe you have and other people have asked before. So it's a knowledge database for everyone to access. Okay. So with that in mind, that's all I have for today. My contact details is listed on my screen itself. So please proceed to ask me any questions or drop me an email and like our Facebook and LinkedIn pages. With that, over to you, Nes. Thank you.
Thank you, Manchong. Thank you for sharing. Viewers, if you have any questions, do type in right below here where the Q&A button is. Of course, last week we had a lot of questions, but I guess some of you might have already been informed of all these, all the details on the OIP as well as the process. So right now we don't have any questions. But along the way, if you have any questions for Manchong, could you just type in, but then put IMDA followed by your question. And we know that's for you. He will be answering the questions right on text directly. All right. Let's see. We have a couple of questions. Shall we, before we move on, shall we just address these questions?
Sure.
We've got one from Anonymous saying, "Hi, may I know if a tape recording will be shared later on?" Yes, of course. Let me answer that for you. Right now, the recording of the presentations as well as the Q&As will be posted on the OIP site. So just look out for it after the event itself. And do I have to be under a company to solve a problem? Manchong, I guess that's probably your question.
Yeah. We do have individuals submitting proposals. So there are individuals from either from IHLs or whatever. But ultimately, when the money is being exchanged for the prize money, typically a contract would be between a problem owner and a problem solver would involve two companies. So because with a contract between the problem owner and the problem solver, it can be an individual, but it'd be better if you register a company as an individual. And yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, Manchong. Before we wrap up, let's do one more question. How will the prototype, if commercialized, how will the profit be shared among, will be calculated, will be shared, I guess, among the problem owner or the problem solver?
Okay, it's hard to answer this question without any context. So I guess it really depends on the problem statement. It depends on the IP involved, and it depends on the positioning of the IP. It depends on a lot of things. So I think if there is a specific example, I'll be able to assist you. But many times it's too wide to answer this question. I'm sorry.
Okay, sure. So if you have any more questions, you can either post it and Manchong will be answering via text during this session, or you could go to the forum and post your questions. It will be answered as well over there, okay, if it's after this event. Without further ado, I think we will have to move on to the next speaker. And thank you very much, Manchong.
Thank
you
you
very much for sharing with us. All right, let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have 5 speakers. As opposed to last week's 4. So without further ado, our first problem owner is Candice Chong, Executive Manager from the Manpower Development Department of the Building and Construction Authority, which oversees the skill certification of foreign workforce. She'll be sharing about their challenge, virtual environment to better assess skills of foreign construction workers. Candice, I can see that you're ready. Take it away, please.
Hi, Tess, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
All right.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this virtual event. My name is Candice, and I'm from the Manpower Development Department of BCA. So basically, our department oversees the skill certification of foreign construction workforce, and my team manages the local and overseas testing centers. So just a bit of background, before a construction worker comes into Singapore, we'll have to go to the source country to assess their skills. So only with adequate skills, they can enter Singapore, so that when they go to the site, they do not have to spend time to get themselves trained. So it improves productivity on site. And so once they come in, after 4 to 6 years, they can actually upgrade themselves at our local training centers to improve their quality of work. So in both training overseas and local, we conduct tests, and today we still use very conventional methods such as measuring tools, spirit levels, and measuring tapes. So just a background of how the test environment is, it's actually we do the assessments in project base. So it's like office cubicles, and then the worker will be given construction drawing, and they will construct according to the drawing, and then after the whole assessment, the assessor will actually go around to individual cubicles to evaluate in terms of the installation, the quality, their methods, and also they also patrol during the test to check their safety. So, so this method is still quite manual, and we're actually looking at ways to achieve greater efficiency and quality assessment. Yeah, so we would like to conduct these assessments in a more automated manner using technology such as BIM or machine vision or virtual environment. Yeah, so with such assistance, we hope that the accuracy and efficiency of assessment will be improved. We can use lesser paper and it'll be less cumbersome. Yeah. So that is the case. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Candice. I guess right now, thanks for the explanation. Right now, some of our problem solvers will definitely have some questions. Let's see if they have asked some questions. Problem solvers, remember for the Q&A, if it's for Candice, just type in BCA followed by your question and we will answer it right over here. All right, so remember, type BCA followed by your question. Okay, let's see if we have any questions so far. Okay, we have one from Terence Liu. Candice is asking, how many workers typically do you assess each session?
Oh, typically in overseas it's 12, but in a local context it could go up to 20.
Right, and on the same topic, how many assessors go out to do these assessments?
2.
Two assessors. All right.
Correct.
So that was
So
from.
currently we are looking at our own assessors to go down to do the assessment, but in a more advanced stage, we would actually require the personnel from the training center to do the assessment on their own, and the results they just have to shoot it from a distance, and then the results will be sent back to the back end system.
Right. So it's basically a remote assessment, which can be
Yeah,
done
we
anywhere.
are visualizing something like like a beam overlay, and then if the reality fits the overlay, so it's a pass, right? So it's a pass,
Yep.
and then it will send back to the system to my office to tell me that okay, it is correct.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got some questions, but they've already been answered. So at this point in time, Candice,
Yeah.
so given that the prototype solution has to simulate a virtual environment, I mean, given that it has to be overseas, is that and of course in other countries there may be some bandwidth limitations or perhaps limitations on the technical
Yeah.
aspects. Do you expect something like this to be very elaborate, or do you need a light version or something that's lighter, that can be run on, say, maybe third world countries where they have a lower bandwidth, probably not not so good, what do you call it, computers over there?
Mm, that is definitely a challenge to us as well. Uh, we do hope that the solution will help to overcome this as well. Maybe in the beginning you don't have to be through internet, but maybe you can save the results in some format, and then it can be courier back to us. My assessors can bring back to us, and then we can open it from our office to do the marking.
Okay, okay, great.
Mm. But I mean,
Um,
it is best if, of course, it can be directly sent to us. But we understand that there is bandwidth issues, internet connectivity issues. So um, we are hoping that there is some kind of solution to overcome it.
okay, all right, great. So, Candice,
Mm.
um, I mean, okay, we've got someone anonymous here is asking any preference on the mode of delivery app. I guess we've already kind of addressed that. So are you expecting foreign worker to administer themselves or overseas ATTC to administer it there? I think we've addressed that also. Um,
Mm.
so are you expecting from JC Sekar, are you expecting to test this test to be conducted overseas, or is it to be done locally?
Both, both.
Both. Okay. So it's to more of to simulate the actual working environment.
Mm.
Okay. So uh, we've got another set of questions from an anonymous attendee. What specific skills are required to be tested for your prototype? Is it the drawing skills?
Oh, what skills is it? Okay,
What
so
specific skills do you need to test?
okay, so dimensions is one. Quality, like the finishing, we have about 50 traits, 50 active traits that we conduct tests for. So dimensions is definitely one. Finishing, functionality. Sometimes we have like electrical traits whereby you need to test the circuitry. Also methods.
Okay.
This solution should also have some kind of like video conferencing so that I can ask my assessors to do a patrol, and then they can see or they can observe how the candidate performs the test. Whether is it safe? Did he do it safely? Yeah. And his working attitude, is he like very messy, that kind? Yeah.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay, Ken.
Yeah. So these are the
So
few like things we look out for. Mm.
okay, okay. I think, of course, going down to the operational level, there will be a lot more details to be discussed. I mean, we've
Mm.
only managed to overline the assessment criteria of the skills. I think some of the problem owners will probably want some details. So for those of you who want some details, I think you can go to the OIP forum, and then post more of your questions. You can find out more there. You can sort out more of the details over there. All right.
Mm.
Okay. And okay. So one anonymous attendee is asking, are you looking for full digital or virtual environment, or mix of digital and physical?
Okay. What we have in mind is should be mixed reality, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, mixed
Okay.
reality whereby we want a beam drawing to be overlaid to the actual environment. Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah. I think it's both.
Okay. So, okay. So there is David Chow here who is asking for an example. Can we have an example of how one assessment is done? I think just now we did mention a few things, but maybe let's state a case scenario, for example, right? And how would you think a virtual environment will help? For example, a virtual environment is a construction site. What do you need to do?
Okay, so just a quick example, the setting of my training center is actually sheltered, so it's not quite like a construction site yet. So I'll take electrical wiring installation as an example. So what the candidate has to do is to maybe install trunkings and then connect the wires to the switch. Okay, just very simple one. And after he has done that, the assessor will go to his test bay, and then he will check the dimensions and check the circuitry. So what we are thinking, if the solution can do it, is that for example, if you're using some kind of like a smart glasses or a camera, which we can input the beam drawing, we should stand at a distance, and then we will just shoot the camera or the smart glasses to the bay, and then if all the lines, the grids coincide, then it's correct, right?
Okay.
It's correct. Yeah. In terms of the dimensions are because grid ma, so dimension. So quality, which is the finishing, is something tricky. We do not know if we could use like maybe like reflection or light reflection or some kind of like intermediate way of checking the finishes. Finishes as in like the screws, they have to be both nicely screwed in, or maybe the trunking is not jagged. Yeah, when they cut, it's not jagged, it's smooth. Yeah, so these are things we are looking out for. And then at the end, of course, EWI, electrical, right? So you need to check whether the switch it's well connected, and the circuitry. So basically that is how we conduct the whole assessment. And then by right we have a checklist. Yeah, we have a checklist and we'll tick it off lah. So the solution, if let's say we can use the beam to overlay on the reality, then we don't have to use pen and paper anymore. We just have to send the results back into the system.
All right. Thank you, Candice, for that explanation. I think that's pretty clear for our problem owners. For our problem solvers. And I guess we have a little time for our last question. Here we've got Terence Liu, and actually after that we've got a couple of people asking the same question also. I think this is quite important because the fact that it's going to be run overseas as well. So
Yes.
the question is by Terence Liu, what language will these assessments or certification be done in? Do we have to deal with localization like languages?
No, it will be in English. Yeah. So actually, for the candidates, their questions, the test papers are translated. But as a assessor, to assess the candidate is in English, in our language. Yeah. It's in English.
Right. Okay. Ken. So problem solvers, it's in English because it has to interface with the invigilators, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Only the tests questions are translated for the workers. Right.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Okay. Great. I guess that's all the time we have for the questions right now. So Candice, thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for answering the questions.
Thank you.
Yeah. And for those problem solvers who still got questions, the questions that have asked and not been answered will be addressed in the OIP forum, and you can also go over there and then ask more questions to the problem owners, like BCA, Candice, and they will be addressing the issues, questions, and whatever clarifications that you have in the OIP forum. All right. Thank you very much, Candice, for your time. Thank you. You have a nice day and stay safe. Yeah. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, that was Candice from BCA. Okay, Candice Chong from BCA. So right now, for those of you who have just joined us, there are a few things that you should take note of. We will be having four more speakers. We have our next speaker here who have just joined us. He will be with you shortly. These four speakers will be talking in turns and presenting their respective challenges. So far, we've already had Candice Chong from BCA, who actually talked about their challenge, which is a virtual environment to better assess skills for foreign construction workers. We've just had the Q&A session, which was, I'm sure, pretty helpful for some of the problem solvers out there. Now, next, let's move on to our next speaker. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next we have Kevin Lim, AVP Asset Management from CDL. He is part of the asset management team in CDL Commercial. Kevin is responsible to drive and execute asset positioning and enhancement strategies for commercial assets in Singapore and Thailand. Today, he'll be sharing about their challenge, collaborative platform for mall tenants to provide complimentary services that delight mall goers. Kevin, if you're ready, the screen is all yours.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah.
you loud and clear.
Yeah, so I'll share just a few deck. I think yeah, okay, so I think we have actually okay, so the background of this whole how we came on board this OIP platform is actually through IMDA. So IMDA actually when we started this journey with IMDA, we didn't know that we would actually have this particular problem statement that we'll be sharing today. So thanks to IMDA team and also BCA team who help us to go through quite a intensive and detailed design thinking workshop. We rope in a few parties who are in the user experience, processes, customer experience team, and then we somehow came up with this statement. So I think you have for all the problem solvers out there who are interested or have some ideas of what they can propose to CDL, we'll look forward to hear from you. But just give me a couple of minutes to share what exactly we are looking for. So CDL, I believe for those who are not in the so for those who are in the real estate sector or construction sector, probably CDL is a familiar name because CDL is one of the pioneering real estate developers and landlords in Singapore. Okay. So we operate a diversified range of portfolios ranging from hotel, service apartment, commercial office, and some integrated developments like South Beach that y'all can see along beach along the city front. Okay, so our problem statements goes like this. I think this is not something new in the industry. So with the rise of e-commerce, which has already been there for almost more than a decade, but now with this COVID situation, we actually even see even more people switching from brick and mortar store to online shopping. So in view of that, we have actually seen a decrease in footfall in our shopping malls. I think one of the main shopping malls that probably people are familiar with is actually City Square Mall. So that's at the central part of Singapore. So we do see this happening at our malls, and also gradually people are not buying things into the malls, although they are spending time there. Yeah. So what we are thinking of is actually to help our tenants more. So how do we do that? Usually we do, of course, as the usual marketing and promotional campaigns that we have our tenants, right? Through our Marcom teams. we also are thinking of helping them to do a collaboration type of exercise, or exercise whereby they can have some cross-selling for their different type of products. For example, a tuition center, I think you all can see quite clearly. For example, a tuition center, their customers are actually parents who bring their kids or children there on probably on a weekday morning. And this tuition center can actually probably can partner with a existing F&B outlet to provide some kind of promotional F&B package for them. Or it may not be, we do not limit it to just F&B. We could also extend it to other types of activities or other types of products which the existing tenants in the mall are providing. So I think in short is we are looking for a digital solution which can help to do this. Okay, probably it's just to tie up different tenants, but the problem is that the tenants do not know which customers the other tenants in the malls have. So this is something which is, to us, when we think about first thought that comes to us is that, wow, this is pretty like labor intensive. We have to spend a lot of time to probably go door to door to each tenant to ask. Yeah, so we are thinking of trying to streamline this process, and probably in one way we do see tenants are already thinking or doing something similar. For example, a food reflexology firm at the basement is trying to sell their products to customers, for the example that I just mentioned earlier, to the parents who visit the tuition centers over the weekend. This is really happening, just that they are doing it on a very manual and a very old-fashioned kind of way. Yeah. Okay. So the end goal is, of course, by doing that, we can actually provide a sort of experiential experience for both the customers or the shoppers in the going into CDL's mall, and also our tenants. And this will help them to expand. And for the tenants, of course, we want to help them to expand their existing customer base. And we think that this is one very good and a low-hanging method to do it. Okay, so this is the problem statement. You can see it on OIP platform, right? This is the prototype which okay, we didn't actually really look at this in detail yet, but IMDA helped us to piece it all together, and this is what the solution should comprise of. Okay, I think all these are actually on OIP. I think you all can just refer to the website. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thanks for your interesting presentation there. I think it is actually a real problem that we've been seeing on the ground at malls. So I think this solution would be something that would really help enhance the experience of mall goers, and of course at the same time will help the mall tenants as well.
Yeah, so just to add on that, so I think because CDL is not a major mall player in Singapore, not like the Capital Mall, the Frasers Mall, Asia Mall. So I believe a lot of mall goers probably have come across apps which the malls are already using. Even in Paya Lebar quarter, you are seeing it, PLQ. But for CDL, we just want to find something to target. We have an existing problem. We think that we should solve it, and yeah, so we are looking for something from the problem solvers out there. Yeah, it may not be those like a very kind of very app which has, or some digital product which has all kinds of features in there which we don't actually will use that much. Yeah.
Right.
So on top of that, I have actually one colleague who is joining. She's Cheryl. So
Hi, Cheryl.
Yeah, so Cheryl heads the group leasing in CDL and in particular retail. So I need her. I wrote her in today as so that she can take some, if in the event that there's any question relating to the type of tenant, the tenant mix, and any other questions relating to tenants. I think she will be in a better good position to give her inputs and comments.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, and welcome, Cheryl. Yeah, and let me just reiterate. I think CDL is looking for a solution that is that is suitable, or rather that is just enough without all the other bells and whistles. Because this is something that they just want to target and solve that problem with a succinct solution. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right. So viewers, as I said before, just a reminder, if you would like to address a question to Kevin or Cheryl, type in CDL followed by your question, so that we know those questions are targeted or directed to them. Okay, so CDL followed by your question. So just feel free to type in your question in the Q&A portion, and then we will try our best to answer it. Okay, Kevin and Cheryl, shall we take some of the questions?
Yeah, sure. I can see
All right.
some questions coming in already.
Okay, great. Let's start with Warren Tan, shall we? If the digital solution involves the changing of tenants' existing POS system, the point of sale system, can CDL initiate that change?
Oh, do you have is there a specific reason or example that that comes with this question? We
There's
do
no
have we do have a POS vendor. Yeah, so of course, if there is any tweak to that system, we got to work with our POS vendor. But we want to know exactly why you need to change that system.
Right.
Right.
So Warren, I think if you have some examples, you can maybe just state it in the Q&A. If we have time, we can address that. But just let me reiterate. I think CDL is looking for something that is simple, works, and without a lot of the bells and whistles involved. So basically, something not that heavy that it has to involve the POS. I'm not. I mean, that's what I understand. Is that right, Kevin?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go on to the next questions then. Yeah. So
Okay, next maybe I jump in here. I can
yeah.
see one question from Eugene.
Okay.
Are we able to use CDL malls to perform testing, right? I
Yes.
think we are not able to do that. Okay, so how we evaluate? CDL is actually in the process of evaluating quite a number of solutions. Some are digital, some are not digital. So we have a innovation committee and also the individual business units who does this evaluation. So for this question, in particular for this question, if we think that this solution is what exactly fulfills our requirement or what we need, and we think that it can solve or even outperform the existing problems that we have, or something that we would like to enhance further, then we would be very keen to conduct a POC. Yeah, so if we choose that particular solution, then of course we will bring the POC into our malls or into our other assets, and then we will carry out from there. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eugene had a really long question.
Okay.
We have one from Ching Xiang, which is, while there seems to be existing data on tenants in the database provided, will developers receive any existing data on the customers that visit the malls?
Okay, for this we would need to know exactly what kind of information that you need from us in particular. Yeah.
All right, so problem solvers, if you need any information, you can take it out in the OIP forum. I think that's a very good platform for you to work out the details with our problem owners. So we have one which is Oh, okay. The other one we've got. All right. So we have one Ankit Dixit. Are facilities management for malls under CDL directly, or is it outsourced to third parties?
First, we have an in-house operation team taking care of the entire operation of the mall, and they are housed inside. They are housed within the mall. So we also engage third-party vendors to help us. POS is a third-party vendor, for example, and then the rest will be your typical mall type of service providers. Yeah, including securities, cleaners, other staff, maintenance staff, yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's generally in-house. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. I think we've got one anonymous attendee who's asking. I think the person's concern is probably what's in it for the tenants to work together. So in a sense, is he or she is asking, how do we, or are we expected to consider the profit sharing commission based benefits that comes with promoting other tenants and services? Example, tuition, to promote massage, does it get a cut, or in any sense, is there anything in it for the tenants?
Um, Cheryl, are you there?
I think, can you hear me?
Yeah, can I can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
I think when I think it increases the sales for the tenants itself, it gives them more visibility across, and also I wouldn't think it's more like a profit share. I mean, there are tenants right now who have already done their own collaborations together, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to do it into a more wide initiative, so there's more tenants that's involved, and then they can use the platform to be able to liaise with more different categories around the mall, rather than they go one by one and then they try to find which tenant, and they find the contact of each personal tenant to get to work with them. So it's not so much just like they get a cut of the profit and so on. It's also to, in general, all the tenant sales, both parties will also be increased, and the customers will also find it easier when they are shopping in City Square.
Yep. Ness, we can't hear you.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is also related to the retail space. We have an anonymous attendee asking, currently would the mall have their own shoppers like membership program online, so that the collaboration of the platform can push promotions to the right target customers?
Currently, we don't have the app lah. That means we don't have like the Capital Star app and what they're using. So we are working on that app.
Right. Okay. And currently, is your systems hosted in-house, or is it accessed over the cloud?
Sorry, come again. What type of system?
As in, he's asking, is the system to be housed in-house, or is it accessed over the cloud?
It will probably be in-house though.
In-house. Okay. All right. Okay, this one, David Tan asked, as you want a system platform that is, a simple platform, would you need to cater for any future expansion for the platform itself?
Definitely. But depending on the type of proposal that comes in to us and how we can expand it. So right now, actually for CDL, we do have a building app, but that's mainly for our commercial office, not for our retail mall. So retail mall, like what Cheryl mentioned, we are still working on something. So we have not formalized, or we have not finalized or formalized that yet. So hence, I think this is a good time for proposals to come in so that we can see how we can integrate it into. We have to look at it more holistically at this point of time.
Right, right. Okay. All right. And I understand that you cover two different countries, Singapore and Thailand. We've got Kim Lian here who asked if there is a need to have it in several different languages, or is it just predominantly in English?
This is mainly for the Singapore local context. Thailand, we are not looking at it at this moment. Yeah, so it's probably one language for now lah. Yeah.
Just one language, yeah.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Great. So I got a few questions on the profit sharing, but I'm going to ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to skip those questions because I think Cheryl has already said that it's basically it's a win-win situation if they were to help each other. Of course, their sales will go up. I think that's one of the main drivers.
Yeah, because you're right. So we bring profit sharing into the picture. I think it will complicate things or
Yes.
make it a bit more difficult.
Yeah.
To execute it. But of course, having said that, we will definitely, if we see a suitable solution that comes in, of course, we'll actually talk to the tenants who would be keen to participate in this particular collaboration kind of platform. I think we already have a targeted pool of tenants whom we think can come on board. So with a good solution in hand, we'll talk to them. We'll engage them further.
Okay. So, I think that's all we have for the Q&A right now. I think there are some questions. There are a lot of questions, but viewers, there are some questions that are either repeated or have already been addressed within the either the talk or the Q&A segment. So I hope that we've been able to answer those questions. If you are unsure, you want to go back to the OIP site, and we will post the video recording of Kevin's presentation, as well as our Q&A with Cheryl and Kevin. So you can go back and then try to look for the answers in there. If you can't find the answers, the OIP forum is always there. That's where you can connect with the problem owners and sort out whatever issues, clarifications, or detailed questions that you have over there. All right. So with that said, thank you very much, Kevin and Cheryl, for joining us today and sparing some of your valuable time to address the questions and also share with our problem solvers on your challenge.
Thanks. Thank you for hosting us. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're most welcome, and stay safe. Take care. Until we meet again. Thank you very
much. Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. That was Kevin and Cheryl from CDL. They've been, they've spoken about their challenge. At this point, we've already had two. Okay. At this point, we've already had two speakers. One from BCA, that was Candice Strong. All right, and she spoke about our challenge, virtual environment to better assess skills of foreign production workers. And then also we just had Kevin Lim from CDL with their challenge, collaborative platform for more tenants to provide complementary services that they like all goers. All right, so the two challenges that we talked about in the past, if you just join us, don't worry, we've got three more, a lot more in stock for you. We've got three more speakers, and our third speaker will be Elwin, who's the founder of E3 Sports and global activist. All right, she's got a an interesting occupation there. Annabelle, an equestrian athlete, and is considered one of the most accomplished athletes of her generation. A goal, an aspirational entrepreneur, and a committed young philanthropist with a promising future. She'll be sharing with us the challenge getting with a smart device. Annabelle, do
Yes,
we have
dear.
with us? All right, great. Annabelle, thank you very much for spending a little bit of time with us today. If you're ready, okay, I can see that you're sharing your system. Okay, if you're ready, the screen is all yours. And
Thank you. I'm just confirming that you are able to view my presentation.
yes, I'm looking at it. It says Splash Band.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Before I start, I would like to say a huge thank you to IMDA for this amazing opportunity where I really hope that I can find a problem solver which can really help me to develop my idea further. So I'm really excited for that. Thank you. So first, a little bit about me. I was the first Asian-based athlete to qualify for the FBI European Championships last year in July, where I won the bronze medal. I'm from Denmark, but I've lived in Asia my whole life. And I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that Singapore has provided me whilst I've been here. A little bit about the ideation for my idea. I really recognized an issue with drowning deaths increasing as more people move into residencies where they have pools. And although parents are attentive, they can become temporarily distracted, which could lead to a drowning death. Some of the common causes of near drowning include leaving children unattended in water, panic in water, and the inability to swim. And therefore, I tried to find a solution that could help prevent these issues from happening. My journey started when I began researching drowning deaths around the world and how this really impacts our society. Once I did the research, I contacted a lawyer where I began to think of a solution to this problem and then established a patent which was filed and has just recently been granted to me. For me, the next steps in this partnership would include developing a working prototype and conceptualizing the solution. This would mean working with competent and experienced developers which have experience in technologies and monitoring, experience with cellular technology, competency with integration of technology and hardware, a track record of reliable solutions, and have a strong awareness and involvement in health technology. These are all important factors of the problem solver. In this partnership, I'm really keen to get to know your potential solution to the problem so I can understand your experience in health technology and the backgrounds that you have. It is really important to me that we keep confidentiality through the adoption of an NDA with regards to my patent details, solution, and flowchart. And lastly, I would really like to explore the opportunities that I can through collaboration on development of the prototype. Thank you for that, and any questions are welcome.
Well, thank you very much. Give me a minute. All right. As you can see below, there is a Q&A. There is a Q&A button there. Okay. And that Q&A button if you click on it, you can see all the different questions. Viewers, if you would like to any questions regarding that challenge, feel free to just type it in into the right there. But remember to state response followed by their question. Okay. Remember to type E3 spots followed by their question. Hello? Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure if I got cut off just now. It just went silent. Yeah,
Yes.
again, for those of you out there, if you have any questions, please type in the Q&A in the Q&A widget and then ask, type E3 spots followed by the question so that we know it's for each sport. Okay, someone typed splash ban. It's fine too. We know. Okay, so we've got a question from an anonymous attendee. Actually, there are many such devices in the market. But what do you think is the most, is unique about the splash ban?
Yes, I do recognize that there are a lot of similar technologies that are already available, but that's why I've chosen to not to take already available technologies such as heart rate detecting watches and, for example, phones, and connect them together to produce a device that works together to prevent this problem of drowning deaths. So it's actually the integration of hardware and software. That's the idea.
Right. Okay. So something different than that's out there, right? A combination of software that's different as well as the hardware. Okay. We've got next NKit. He's got a question. It is the latency. Is there a latency that you require on cellular technology?
Do you mind repeating the question?
Is there a latency limitation you require on cellular technology?
I'm not sure. It's these details where I need help the most, and therefore why I'm reaching out to people who have better experience in these technologies than I do.
All right. Okay. So for NKit, if you have questions, just click on the OIP forum, and and that way E3 will have some time to work it out, and then maybe check on the technicalities and then get back to you. All right. So I think that at this point, we'll move on to some other questions. Administratively, when do do they need to sign an NDA? When do they need to sign an NDA? That's from Niranjan Kumar.
Sorry, do you mind repeating the question? There was some problem with the connection.
When do they need to sign the NDA, non-disclosure agreement with E3 Sports from Niranjan Kumar?
This will need to be signed once we start to work with you, and I further disclose the details of the invention.
Right. Okay. So, you already have a device. What is the objective of the program system?
The objective? The objective of the system would be to prevent drowning deaths,
Right.
and to help with parental attentiveness.
All right. Okay. And we've got a question here. Sounds like you have a patented you help to realize the idea. Is that right?
I already have the idea and the solution. What I need the most help with is the technologies behind it and the programming to integrate the two together to try to make the most reliable device that it can be. And yeah, it's more the functions of the device which I need the help with, as I've already conceptualized the idea and the solution for it.
And next one would be Ankit Dixit, who asking who will fund the cost of the hardware for the
We will have to raise capital for that.
right. Okay. All right. So remember, for those of you who are answering or rather asking questions, put it in the answer widget of the chat. Okay, don't put it in the chat because we won't be looking at the chat. We will be looking at the question and answer widget. All right. So we've got one from an anonymous attendee. What type of technology are you leaning towards for your prototype?
For this prototype, it would involve two components. Firstly, the technology and the device itself, and secondly, an app that can be paired with it.
Okay, great. So viewers, just to reiterate, I mean, E3 Sports has got the concept and after the hardware for the prototype, they will have raise funds for it, but they're looking for someone to come up with a good hardware solution that can be paired with the hardware, so that can be a viable solution that can go to the market. All right, is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Okay, this one is a little bit on the concept idea. Was there any environmental context of the drowning prevention idea? Are you thinking of open sea or the beach or a swimming pool?
This device can be implemented not only for personal use, but also for professional use and corporate use. For example, it can be used at home for a private family using their swimming pool, at their condo, or in their residence. However, it can also be slightly altered to fit the requirements of a public swimming pool or a recreational theme park. So this device can have many uses across several different target groups.
Right. Okay. So we have different target groups, right, for commercial or rather for corporate, for facilities as well as for personal use. Okay.
Yes.
I guess. So one more question from Miranda. I think I've already addressed this. Perhaps I'll just ask this question then. What is the type of communication you're looking between the app and device? Is it something about that it get up to the solution or rather the problem solver?
The idea that I had with this was to use cellular technology, which is already available today. However, if a problem solver feels like a different type of communication would be more suited for this device, then I think that would be probably better, as it's therefore I'm reaching out to have help with these details.
Okay, great. So for problem solvers, we're looking at a cellular connection, but of course, if you have better ideas, if you have any ideas, just feel free to post on the forum and put that to proposal, and then you can sort it out with E3 Sports after this event through the OIP. All right. So, let me see what, let me see, we have, okay, right now, I guess that's all the time we have for the Q&A at this moment. Thank you very much. I just want to clarify, because Annabelle was supposed to be speaking, right? And I think I'm Vivian, am I correct?
Sorry, do you mind repeating your question?
Initially, I was, I mean, Annabelle was supposed to be speaking, but the one that I'm seeing on Zoom, the thing that I'm seeing on Zoom is Marianne. Is that correct? Is
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much, Marian. Viewers, I think Annabelle wasn't able to make it, so the one who has been answering your questions and speaking to you, the challenge itself was Marian. Okay, and Marian, thank you very much for your time. Can you still hear me?
Oh, no, sorry. I think there's been a small misunderstanding. This is Annabelle. It's just I'm using another account of a relative.
I see. Okay, so we got that right then. Yeah, because we are looking at Marian, and then we were wondering why is this Marian? So I'm sorry, folks. Yeah, this is Annabelle. So whatever I have done, yes, it is correct. It is Annabelle that we are speaking to. She's just using her relative's Zoom account. All right. Thank you very much, Annabelle. Am I still audible right now?
Yes. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was a really great experience, and I can't wait to hear back from the problem solvers here today.
Yes, thank you, Annabelle, for your time. It was a pleasure to have you on this event, and we wish you all the best. Please stay safe. Uh, Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there was Annabelle. Annabelle Wayne from E3 Sports. Gold medalist. Okay. So it was nice to have her on board as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen, just as a reminder, if you want to ask any question, please state the problem owner's name before the question, all right, so that we can pick it up and address it, or rather direct it to the right problem owner. And of course, later on, when we need to address it on the OIP forum, this is at least we know who the questions are directed to. Okay, so remember, just put in the name of the problem owner and then type in your question. Okay, so viewers, for those of you who have just joined in, um, I guess we have two more speakers for you. So don't worry, there's still plenty of time left on the show. Before this, before you've joined us, we've had Candice Chong from BCA with their challenge, virtual environment to better assess skills of foreign construction workers. And then followed by Kevin Lim from CDL, discussing the challenge, collaborative platform for mall tenants to provide complimentary services that delight mall goers. And we just a minute ago had Annabelle Rain of E3 Sports with their challenge, preventing drowning with a smart device. Now, if you miss all those, don't worry, because we will be posting this video on the OIP platform. And of course, the questions can still be asked on the OIP forum. Okay, so without further ado, our next speaker for today is Tusha Nath, who is the Digital Innovation Lead from Soil Built Construction Group Limited. He is the leader of digital transformation at Soil Built Group, and he heads the applied research and development and Technology Implementation Department spearheads multiple applied R&D initiatives. He'll be sharing with us their challenge, enhanced maintainability of prefabrication facility. Tusha, if you're ready, the screen is all yours. Oh, sorry, we don't have Tusha with us right now. Let me check whether he's perhaps having any issues. Okay, so in place of Tusha, we will be playing the problem statement video from Soil Build. Okay, so that you can understand what their problem statement is, the details of their challenge, and then from there, perhaps we can field some questions, whether here or on the OIP forum. So if we're ready, let's play the video. Perhaps our tech people would be able to put up the video right now.
Solbuild Group was established in 1976 and since then has grown into an end-to-end real estate solutions organization. We are owners, developers, main contractors, fabricators, and we also do facility management for the buildings under our portfolio. In 2015, the group decided to embark upon developing an integrated construction and prefabrication hub, ICPH in short, for production of prefabricated elements leveraging on advanced robotics and automation capabilities. The equipment and machinery in the controlled ICPH facility are constantly in use and require regular maintenance to ensure safe and efficient operation. Proper maintenance is of paramount importance for the efficient operation of any machine, not only to extend its life cycle and reliability, but also to ensure the safety level of the operators. We are seeking a digital solution that can enhance the maintainability of these automated machines. The earlier we can predict when equipment will require maintenance, the faster we can intervene with an integrated and structured approach to troubleshoot and examine potential issues. In time, the solution should be able to support predictive and prescriptive maintenance as well. The solution should also act as a dynamic virtual representation of physical assets in the ICPH or as a digital twin developed through the integration of BIM and other digital information. Through artificial intelligence and machine learning, the digital twin should be able to receive real-time data from the IoT sensors to virtually detect the performance of equipment, how it is operating, and predict when it may require maintenance. The developed solution will assist ICPH and the automated factory owners to understand the bottlenecks and constraints in their maintenance workflows. At the same time, it will assist them to perform faster and more accurate maintenance by understanding the root cause of the underlying issues. Solving our challenge would greatly increase productivity. Our processes can be streamlined and we can create a legacy of automated maintenance procedures. We hope you can join us on this journey.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the problem challenge for Soil Build Construction Group Limited. So right now, I think we have a little bit of time. Shall we feel some, or rather, shall we answer some general questions over OIP? Maybe perhaps I can invite Manchong together with us to see if you guys have any questions, any general questions over OIP. Hello, Manchong. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for spending your time. So, viewers, since we have some time, and just now some people were asking for, were still asking questions for about the OIP process, as well as the platform itself. We have Manchong here from IMDA who will be happy to answer any of your questions. So remember, if you're about to ask any question, type IMDA followed by your question. Okay, IMDA followed by your question. So just keep the questions coming. Manchong, do you have anything to share at this point? Since we are at the halfway point with our audience.
Not at the moment. Just to point out that most of the questions that were asked earlier, so I've already typed in the replies. So if you click onto the answered questions, you should be able to see them. Two participants raised their hands. Perhaps you could just type in your questions in the question and answer, and then I should be able to see them and reply you live.
Yeah, that's right. So remember, put your answers in the question and answer box right there, so that we can see it. Do not put it in the Zoom webinar chat, and do not raise your hands. All right.
Okay, I do have one question for Mr. Ng. The question is, do participants get feedback on the status of the submissions? My experience is so far I never hear back. Yes, all the participants who submit their proposals would get a reply back from the problem owner. I'm sorry that you haven't gotten a response back. Do reach out to me, and then I will bridge the connections and then give you an update on the status of your proposal. As you know, given the COVID situation currently, some of the problem owners might take a longer time to evaluate because they're all working from home. Some of the problem owners may face other challenges, which is causing the delay in terms of the evaluation. And after they evaluate, then only IMDA would reach out to these problem solvers. So I do apologize. Please bear with us. We will make sure that that you get a reply from the problem owners on the outcome of your proposal. Okay. The next question that I have is: should IMDA seriously consider changing the closing date, as they may need to visit to the problem owner's site to understand the problem? With regards to, someone asked earlier about extending the closing date, we are considering, if we do extend the closing date, we would definitely inform everyone. With regards to visiting the owner's site, so I'm not sure if this can be done, because to be fair to everybody, some may or may not be able to visit the problem owner site. So what we request is for all the problem solvers to submit all their proposals onto the platform directly. Yeah, and if they have any questions, similarly use the forum. Okay.
All right, seems that we have a lot of questions coming in. We have a bit of time, maybe about 10 minutes before we go on to the next segment.
Okay, maybe I'll just answer some more questions. Yeah, so the next question is, we've noticed that questions on the forum usually don't get answered. Is there another way of getting answers, clarity from the problem owners? So the way we do it is that we will always check the forum to make sure that the problem owners answer all the unanswered questions. IMDA does reach out to the problem owners regularly, twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. So I think maybe we should increase that frequency. Thank you for your feedback. Okay. Next question from Ankit. Is there any spectrum frequency available from IMDA to be used for solving some of the OIP challenges? I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to answer this, but my email address is listed down and my mobile number is listed down there. So perhaps you could just reach out to me and we can have a separate conversation on the spectrum frequency. Okay, next question is, What are the expected collaterals needed during the proposal submission? Any standard templates IMDA has or propose? If we submit before deadline, will we get the selection results early, or final selection results will be announced together after deadline? Okay, so as you know, there are government agencies on board as well, this challenge. So what this means is that the submission deadline is a firm deadline, which is 5th of June, GMT 1600 hours, GMT plus 8, 1600 hours. So it's Singapore time, 4 p.m. on the 5th of June. So the problem owners will only commence the evaluation after they have received all the proposals, which is after the 5th of June. So even if you submit early, nope, they probably won't look at it. The platform is not administered by, it's not administered by IMDA, so it's managed by KPMG, which is an auditing firm. So even we ourselves, we do not have access to any of the proposals that are submitted early. Okay. Are there any, what should you submit in terms of your proposals? So you can submit videos, you can submit PowerPoints, you can submit documents, Word documents, anything that you can attach. You can submit on the platform to the problem owners. So I hope I've answered the question. Okay, next question is, can participants provide partial solution, provide an important brief of solution, for instance, hardware? I think in the submission, it is important for, in the submission, it's important to submit all the documents necessary. And when it comes to the solutioning, that will only happen after the evaluation stage 2. That means when, after the problem owner has signed an agreement with the problem solver, then only the solutioning would commence. Yep. So I hope I've answered the question, Alban. Over to you, Nes.
All right, thanks for fielding those questions, Manchong. I think we've been able to address quite a lot of them. So at this point, we have our speakers ready. So if I guess you can rest. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have just joined us, okay, if you just joined us at this point, just now, we've had 3 different speakers who were kind enough to share with us their problem challenge, as well as answer some questions from our problem solvers. All right, and we've had Candice Chong from BCA with their challenge, virtual environment to better assess skills of foreign construction workers. Kevin Lim from CDL with their challenge, collaborative platform for mall tenants to provide complimentary services that delight mall goers. Our third speaker brought over their challenge from E3 Sports, okay? And the challenge was preventing drowning with a smart device. Right now, we have our 4th speaker of the day, who is from Soil Build. So we have, ladies and gentlemen, Tusha Nath, right? We've got Tusha Nath, who is from Solbit Construction Group. Basically, Tusha hates the digital. He's the digital innovation build from Solbit Construction Group. He's the leader of digital transformation, and he hates the applied research and development and technology implementation department, which spearheads multiple applied R&D initiatives. Today, he will be sharing with us the challenge, enhanced maintainability of prefabrication facility. All right, Tusha, if you're ready, and if you've already shared your screen, I'll hand over the screen to you. Hello, Tusha, are you there?
Yes, hi. Hello everyone, apologies for the delay. I just logged in.
Let me try and share my screen first.
Okay.
Give me a second. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is now. I can see it. Precast Concrete Private Limited.
Right. All right. Okay, guys. So our topic, as was mentioned earlier, is it's about enhancing the maintainability. So what we are basically looking at is trying to find solutions that can act as a digital twin. Regarding maintainability, what we are targeting is things like predictive and prescriptive maintenance. So some of these details, I think we will have to go through further later on. But let me just start with showing you where are we going to implement this particular digital technology, right? So I'm Tushar, as mentioned earlier. So I'm from Soil Build Construction Group. Soil Build set up in near the end of 2018. We started operations with our integrated construction and prefabrication hub. So basically, this is a automated precast element production factory, one of the 5 in Singapore so far. So in this particular factory, there are multiple equipments and machinery. So what we want to do is monitor the efficient usage of these machineries so that we can prevent, and even before prevention, we can predict if there is supposed to be any sort of a breakdown or how to avoid certain circumstances which would lead to the stoppage of work. Okay, so basically this is an artistic representation of our precast facility, which is located in Defu in Singapore. Just a bit of a background introduction. So Singapore is one of the, in Singapore, we have one of our precast facilities, which is an automated precast facility. But we also have certain other non-automated or, at a more manual level, we have some factories in Malaysia as well. So in total, we have about 4 precast factories in the nearby region. I'll focus more on the Singapore facility. So as you can see, we have, the land area for this particular facility is about 20,000 meters square. The GFA is mentioned over there. And the annual production capacity in terms of the concrete production is about 45,000 meter cube per year. Over on the top, you can see it's a 2-story production block. In Singapore, because of the land constraints, our factories needs to be built up vertically. And in other countries where there is no shortage in terms of space, they can have their factories built up horizontally. What is the link between the 2 levels of the production facility? We will take a look at some of the pictures in the upcoming slides. So this is just to align you. The level 1 is where we have our circulation plant, which is basically the production of different sorts of elements where concreting happens. Level 2 is specifically dedicated towards the reinforcement machinery for production of rebar and meshes. Okay, and level 3 is basically where our HQ is situated. So it's quite a big facility where we are able to combine all the different aspects together. So for our automated production purposes, we rely heavily upon an integrated mechanism. So as you can see on the top over here, let me just put out my laser. So all information starts from the design stage. So when we produce our 3D models using platforms like, the building information modeling platforms, these 3D models are the ones that carry forward the information across the life cycle of production and delivery to the project site. So we have integrated the information from the 3D softwares into our ERP systems that carry out the various works in different cycles or different times, as mentioned over here. Okay, so let's go through all of these in a bit more, through a bit more structured manner. Before that, these are a few types of elements that we produce: walls, columns, slabs, and hollow core planks, slabs as well. Okay, let's dive deep inside the level 1 circulation plant and show you the types of equipments and machinery that we have. So everything starts from this particular station. This station is known as a demolding station. The element coming in from the previous cycle is demolded at this particular station first. There are a few ways of demolding. Now, one of the ways is once the element has been deshuttered, this particular table, it's known as a pallet, it needs to be lifted at a certain angle, right? And from this particular pallet, the element that is being produced is being carried on from the overhead cranes that brings it out and stores it inside the racks that moves it inside the storage area. Over here, if certain elements are supposed to be lifted in a different way, in a horizontal manner, it can be lifted using the frames that are specifically built for carrying these particular elements from one location to another location. So everything starts from over here. After the pallet, this particular pallet is free. That is, it doesn't have any other element on top of it, concrete element. It needs to move on to the next station, which is a cleaning unit or an automated pallet cleaning station. So this cleaning unit in itself has various mechanisms to do the cleaning of the pallets. For example, they have blades, they have brushes, and a few other different types of things. So none of these activities today are carried out using manual workforce. So what we do is, once the pallets are ready, it moves inside this particular cleaning unit in an automated manner on top of these rollers that you see on the bottom left and bottom right of the screen of the photo over here. So these are the rollers which carry the pallet from one station to another station. Once the cleaning has happened, it moves on to the next station, which has these robotic arms, as you can see. Now, when I mentioned earlier that all the process starts from the beginning, which is the design stage itself, where we are modeling our, the elements inside a 3D platform. That 3D platform exports the necessary data for the profile and the geometry of the element that is supposed to be produced. So once the information, the relevant information is exported, it is brought inside our ERP system, such as the MES, manufacturing execution systems, or the SCE, the supply chain execution systems, right? So this is what operates these robotic arms over here. There are a couple of functions. First, this robotic arm on the left-hand side needs to do the plotting of where that particular shutter, this shutter on the right-hand side, where that shutter needs to be placed. So after the plotting is done, the robotic arm goes, it lifts the magnetic shutters from a different station and brings it over to the necessary location and then starts placing it according to the relevant profile of the element that is supposed to be produced, right? So this is where the plotting, the shuttering, and finally the oiling, because we need to do the oiling of the pallets as well, so that the elements, the concrete doesn't stick onto the pallets. So all of these processes are carried out in an automated manner. Basically, for production of precast elements, there are a few key steps. First, you need to do the shuttering, then you need to place the reinforcement, then you need to place in the cast-in items, for example, things like the lifting hooks and the sleeves and whatnot. And then after that, you need to do the quality checks. From quality checks, it needs to move to the next station where the concreting happens. After the concreting, it goes inside the curing chamber, and then from the curing chamber, it goes inside the stockyard. So the reason why I mentioned all of these key steps is to give you an alignment in terms of how the process in general looks like. Okay, so this is the first step where the shuttering happens using the robotic arms. Once the shutters are placed appropriately, like as you can see on this palette on the photo on the left-hand side, once the shutters are placed, the second step is to place in the reinforcement. Now, previously, if you remember from my slide, I mentioned that the reinforcement needs to, the level 2 of the precast factory is specifically dedicated for the production of rebar and the meshes, okay? So these are the cranes that lift up the reinforcement that is produced on the level 2 of the precast facility. From that level 2, it is brought down onto the level 1 and dropped inside these specific shutters one by one. The number of shutters that we can place on one pallet, this whole thing, this table, is dependent upon the project requirements. Okay, there's something called a nesting that needs to happen. We do all of this kind of a planning inside our ERP system. So it's not necessary that one pallet, this whole big pallet, will only have one element being produced at one point of time. So there could be multiple elements production happening at the same point of time. as well. So once the reinforcement are placed, it is carried out from these overhead, the red color cranes that you can see, and it is dropped inside these shutters, right? After the shutters are, the reinforcement is placed, there are few steps which we need to do in a bit more manual way. Those steps are placement of cast-in items that I mentioned. Now, these cast-in items are placed in a bit more random order, and the reason why we do it manually is because it's a bit more faster than adopting or a bit more cost affordable than adopting, you know, automation and robotics for just about everything. Okay, because the placement of sleeves requires a certain manual input. The placement of lifting hooks and all those things are better done manually. Okay, so once the placement of those cast-in items happen, it goes through a QA/QC station. The QA/QC station has some sort of a laser mechanism that is able to identify whether that particular rebar and the cast-in items and the shutters that are being placed is according to the design requirements that have been modeled inside the 3D software. If it passes that QA/QC using the lasers, it goes inside the next station, which is the automated concreting, vibration, and compaction station. So this concrete distributor that you see is the one that pours the concrete onto the inside the shutters that are placed on the pallets. We have our own batching plant that is also taking in the requirements from the models that we have created, because each and every element that we have are have a certain grade of concrete required, and based on that grade, the mixed design of concrete can be done automatically as well from the batching plants that we have. Okay, so once the concrete is poured inside this one, inside the shutters, it goes into the next station, which is the automated curing chamber. Now, in this curing chamber, we are able to increase the temperature up until a certain level to get the concretes to be cured in a bit more faster way, but we usually do the curing at normal room temperature. There are reasons behind it, but in the interest of time, let's stick to some of the things that I have to show. Once the curing happens, once the concrete elements are cured, it is carried out using these cranes, that the yellow ones that you will see over here. These are the ones that, basically these are acting as trays. The white ones that you see are acting as trays. So once the element is cured, the tray comes out and it is placed onto the one of the platforms over here. And then from this particular platform, it is carried forward. It is carried forward and placed on these racks. And these racks are the ones which are operated using this overhead stockyard crane, which is also automated in a way, having functionalities such as auto alignment and auto leveling, right? So basically, this is the entire process, and these are the various equipments that we have from from the start, the shuttering, or basically from start of the de-shuttering or the demolding, all the way till the storage of the elements at the stockyard. Some more steps. So moving on to the next level, which is the level 2, which I said is dedicated specifically for the rebar and the mesh production. So these are the equipments that we have. What it basically does is these rebars that you see over here are coming in as a raw material. It comes in a coil sort of a form, right? So these coils needs to be decoiled first. So all of this is placed inside a cylindrical shape, kind of an place where we are able to place the place the coils, and these coils are automatically pulled one by one, and then automatic cutting of these rebars happens according to the design that has been modeled inside the 3D software. There is automatic welding capabilities as well inside the machinery that we have over here. Once the meshes are produced, it goes inside trays that look like this. This is a similar tray that you saw earlier that drops the reinforcement on the respective pallets inside the shutters. So it goes inside these trays and it is stored for a while the shuttering is happening at the lower level, right? For some of the shapes of rebars where we are not able to produce that in an automated manner, we use some sort of a machines like these,
where what do you call it? Like where complex shapes or where customized shapes can be placed and placed inside using this kind of dash. I mean the station, and then from over there, the cutting and bending of the rebars will happen using these kind of machineries. Okay, so that is all that I have very quickly to share with you all in terms of what do we actually do for what do we actually require. Now the next thing is, for all these different stations that I mentioned, right, there are various types of parameters that we look forward to capture. The reason for capturing these parameters is to try and predict whether a particular equipment or what will be the performance of that particular equipment, right? So let's say if there is something which is supposed to go wrong, can the software or can the platform or product or whatever be able to predict before it goes wrong? Let me give you an example. Let's say there is a specific type of an equipment which has a rotor, right? This rotor is supposed to rotate at within a threshold of certain RPMs. Let's say the RPM threshold is about 4,500 RPM to 5,500 RPM, right? As of today, we don't have a mechanism to monitor this, the rotation, of the equipment, of the rotor inside that equipment. So let's say if the rotation, the RPMs are captured appropriately, the type of maintenance that is required when the rotor is rotating at 4,500 RPM is different to the type of maintenance that is required if the rotor is rotating at 5,500 RPM. Okay, so currently all of these monitoring, all of these maintenance activities are experiential, right? It is based on experienced maintenance managers, and these are the people who provide information in terms of what should be done according to the specifications that are provided by the suppliers. So they are the ones who decide on what to be done, and then from over there, the equipment starts functioning back again. But we want to avoid this particular, this scenario where, if possible, we predict the situation before something breaks down or before something goes wrong. Okay, so that's something that I have to share. I would be able to take questions now for, yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Tusha. Thanks for that very detailed presentation. I think the processes, understanding the processes is actually very useful for a lot of our problem solvers there, right here who's watching. So once again, problem solvers, if you would like to ask questions, click on the questions and answer, or rather the Q&A button, and then type it in that question and answer box. All right, don't put it into the Zoom webinar chat because we won't be checking that for question and answers. Again, as a reminder, for those of you who want to direct the question to Tusha, just type soil build and followed by your question. All right.
Naz, can I request something, Naz? I will have to go for a different meeting at in about 5 minutes. I would request the problem solvers if they can drop their questions to me through some other platform, and then I'll be able to answer over the weekend.
Can, no problem. So if you have to go right now, I think of problem solvers, what we can do right now is go to the OIP forum, post your questions, and Tusha will be there to answer those questions. Is that all right, Tusha? On the
OIP?
That's
fine. I'm here for maybe a one question or something, if possible, if there's any.
Shall we? Yeah, perhaps we should have maybe one question. Okay. So we've got from, let me see. Okay. We've got a, okay.
I will answer this question. Can you share the list of machinery? What are the existing sensors or data coming out of machines? Can we attach sensors to the machines to collect data? Okay, the list of equipments and machinery that we have, I showed you the pictures of those things. it will be better if, because of the confidentiality reasons, we will not be able to share with you the exact model numbers and its specifications as of yet. Okay, so once we go into a sort of a partnership or something, then of course I will have to provide you the complete set of details. So that is what your question 1 is about. Question 2, existing sensors or data coming out of machines. These are some things that we will have to learn along with you, because as of today, we don't have sophisticated IoT sensors mounted onto those equipments, right? There are basic sensors on some of those equipments, but it is not capturing the data for doing your predictive and prescriptive maintenance that we are after. So yes, we are looking forward to you all to propose sort of what are those IoT sensors that could be mounted on some of those equipments. But then again, we don't want data overkill, right? We will also have to understand from your side what would be the optimum number of sensors that could be mounted onto those equipment so that optimal amount of data is being captured for our purposes. Having so many sensors and too much data will also not be very beneficial as well. And at the same time, we'll also have to avoid too little and too less data as well. So this is something that is going to be a learning journey, I guess, for us as well, because I also don't know how many sensors I need to attach onto those equipments.
All right. So it's a lot of learning along the way, trial and error, and
right,
seeing what works. Okay. I guess you probably have to go right now, right? So thank you very much, Tusha, for your time, for spending your valuable time with us to answer some questions, as well as giving that very comprehensive presentation. You take care, and it's a pleasure to have you on board, and stay safe.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Tusha.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was our speaker from Soil Build. Again, if you if you would like to ask any questions, go to the OIP forum, and he will be answering some of your questions over there. Okay, so just post your questions on the OIP forum, and he will be answering your questions. And this is to everyone else also, for all the problem owners. But remember to identify the problem owners so that when you're asking your questions, so that it's very clear who is it directed to. Okay. Without further ado, for those of you who have just joined us, for those of you who have been with us throughout, thank you very much for your time. I hope you've had a very fulfilling time. We have yet one more presentation for you. And for those of you who have just joined us, so far we've had Candice Chong from BCA with their challenge, Virtual Environment to Better Assess Skills of Foreign Construction Workers, and then followed by Kevin Lim from CDL with their challenge, Collaborative Platform for Mall Tenants to Provide Complementary Services that Delight Mall Goers. And then we had Annabelle Rain of E3 Sports with their challenge, Preventing Drowning with a Smart Device. And of course, whom you just heard just now was Tusha Nath from Soil Build Construction Group Limited with their challenge, Enhanced Maintainability of Prefabrication Facility. If you've missed all those, don't worry. This video will be posted on the OIP, and you can still ask your questions if you have any on the OIP platform. Okay, and so now moving on to our final speaker for today's session is Keith from one of Asia's largest insurance MNCs, and he will be discussing their challenge, a data analytic collaborative platform for insurance ecosystem partners and clients. Well, Keith, if you're ready, are you ready, Keith? Hello.
Hi, Nas. Yes, I'm ready.
Awesome. All right. Hope you had a nice day. Let's, if you're ready, take it away. The screen is yours.
Thanks a lot for presenting the screen on behalf of me. So thanks a lot, problem solvers, for making time this afternoon. I represent one of Asia's largest insurance MNCs. And today I want to talk about a challenge that we're facing internally in the areas of group insurance. So I'd like to just request for control of the slides. If not, you could just let me see. You can click for me as well if you don't mind. So just give you the heads up. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, awesome. So what is, just a quick background about group insurance. So what is group insurance exactly about? If you're an employee of a company, and when you're signing a document to a contract to begin employment, your HR team would tell you that you have insurance cover for free, covering you for hospitalization, etc. So our insurance company provides that kind of what we call corporate policies for employees of companies, like probably the ones that you work for right now. So what happens with this kind of businesses is that to an insurance company, we make money, of course, when we work with more clients, corporate clients, more employees. We lose money if a lot of employees start to fall sick, which means that if you start to take more MC, you could start to visit the hospitals more. The cost doesn't go to the HR, the cost goes to the insurance company like us. Our problem is to find a way to reduce this kind of cost by understanding why are employees falling sick? Why are they going to these hospitals that's more expensive? Why are they doing this and that? Why are they not trying to keep themselves healthy? But to do that, we know that we need data to make insights and to make action plans to help employees be more healthy. Right now, one of the key challenges that we have is to get hold of our partners, HR teams from our corporate clients, their own partners, for example, those who provide, say, gym memberships, those who provide yoga classes, those who provide even like telemedicine, for example, to get hold of all these partners, get a better sense of the data in a very organized way, collect this data, then make sense of this data so that we know what is going on with our employees, why they falling sick, and then find ways to reduce costs. To keep them healthy and reduce costs for us. So that's a very broad picture about what we want to do. So we move on to the next screen. Thank you. Now, we asked this through design thinking. We are wondering, since data is of the essence here, how might we actually find a platform or build a platform where we could not only get insights about employees of our clients, but also to work with an ecosystem of partners or wellness partners, like I mentioned, telemedicine companies, gyms, yoga studios, health screening providers, etc., so that we reduce costs on our end, but we also offer services, better services to our corporate clients. Next slide, please. Okay, great. So this is what's in store for problem solvers. We're looking at 20K of prize money for a prototype. And more importantly, because we are a regional insurer, we have presence in many countries here. We are very, very keen to extend the solution to other countries that would need this solution. So think about scaling out as well. Thank you very much. Okay, next slide. So current slide, how could this company work with us? So we talk about finding ways to reduce costs to us by finding ways to keep employees healthy so that they don't claim too much from their insurance policies. So if a company, a solution provider, a problem solver could come in and say, okay, we're going to be able to offer ways to reward employees to be healthy, something like Healthy 365 or something like Vitality. Well, we'd love to hear more. On the data side of things, I think if we are able to find a way to onboard or obtain data in a very structured way, we're not talking about Excel, we're not talking about emails, we're talking about able to integrate data from different partners, health screening providers, like I mentioned, telemedicine companies. All this will make analytics, making sense of the data easier for us. And I think lastly, we want to be able to also use the same platform to provide better products to our employees. So employee who is using this product, this platform, would also be maybe able to learn more about our insurance products as well. Thank you. So I mentioned that before in the previous slide. We ideally like to get data and get data in a very structured way. We like to be able to onboard our partners as well in a very structured way as well. Next slide, please. And so as an insurance company, we hold our clients' data and our clients' data with absolute confidentiality. So privacy, security, whether you're on cloud or not, how do you manage all this data? That's very important to us. How easy is it to actually use the platform to obtain data and make sense of the data? Very important because we're going to move away from Excel and emails. We don't want to regress in this area. The third thing that's important to us is we want a platform that's able to provide us flexibility in terms of who we want on board and what kind of data that is passed through. So you want to add on a new partner, they might be passing us unstructured data, just an example. So we want to also have a way to make sense of this unstructured data. Analytics, yes, we like a dashboard. We want a better way to look at all this data collected beyond, again, just Excel, BI. Then lastly, in terms of, again, integration, you can see there's some multiple requirements here. For data to be structured, we definitely need a way to automate integration with our partners. So some form of API approach, if possible, would be really helpful. Now, so we have technical teams here. We are able to assess what is your technology's underlying architecture. So we definitely need a prototype that is as high fidelity as possible. It's able to show us how your platform is able to ingest different data types. For sharing, also ensure that it's well protected. We also want to see a way where we could actually add our own partners, ecosystem partners easily onto your platform instead of doing very manual back-end integration. We also like how we want to see how the prototype is also able to work well with our own system. So API integrations, very welcome. We like analytics as well. This is still greatly missing. We definitely want a dashboard. We want meaningful information that can be passed. And I think lastly, it has to be really easy to use. So let's just pause here for a while. I know it has been very lengthy in terms of text. But in a nutshell, we like solutions that are quite ready to at least fix a large part of our problems. But more importantly, it is something that we are able to go to market with, we can scale, and whether it has an edge over the existing providers. If you look at the group insurance platform providers in the market, do some research, there's not many in the market. And if you can be better than the incumbents, I think, and you can prove that, that'd be great. And we definitely want companies that would stay beyond COVID-19. Definitely want companies that would be solvent. And ideally, we prefer technical teams. It's good that you can sell a vision, but we also appreciate people who can actually build real products. So let's move on to the last part. Yes, I think this is pretty much BAU. I think it's just posted here, but I would not go through the details in terms of BAU. But yes, thank you very much. So if you have any questions, I'm here. Just feel free to shout out.
Thank you very much, Keith. Okay, let's open the floor for Q&A for those viewers over there. Remember the drill. Type it inside the Q&A box with the Q&A button right down there, and then type. Remember to type. What do you call that? Maybe Keith, right? Or insurance ecosystem before you can type the question. All right. So make sure that your questions is addressed to Keith himself. Just type Keith followed by the question, and then we'll know that that's for Keith. So Keith, thank you very much for that interesting presentation. I think such an ecosystem would be a good, or rather would be quite interesting addition to a lot of our lives. I mean, I can understand how it work with with all this data being fed, and then maybe new solutions can be worked out for something that fits the lifestyles of the clients, or even fits the business of the partners.
Yep.
Yep.
Thanks, Max.
You're welcome. So I think we have some questions right here. We have one from anonymous attendee. Are you already working with another partner for data collection?
So yes, we are. We have various partners for data collection. So good point. It's fragmented since we have different partners that are passing us data. And even those who are passing us a lot of data are still doing that in a very manual way.
Okay. So the next question from Chandra Shekhra Tuha. I guess this is also related to the earlier question. Do we already have the source of structured or unstructured data? I guess the question is, whatever data that you've already collected from all the different partners, that fragmented data, will you be able to share it with the problem solver if they come on board?
Okay, so yes, we can anonymize. We have the data, we can share it, we can anonymize it, no problem.
Okay, great. So we have another one from anonymous again. Given that the group insurance pricing is short-term in nature, would your claims data be part of this data ecosystem?
Oh, definitely. So you're right, anonymous one. So yes, group insurance is renewed on a yearly basis. And so claims data in the past 1 year will be valuable information for us. Yes, it's part of our data ecosystem.
All right. I think you've mentioned it, being on cloud or anything. I think I'm just going to surface this question from Raju. Is this a cloud deployment or on-premise? Is there any particular preference?
Oh, that's a good point. So I think there are two schools of thought. From the business users point of view, we like cloud. I think IT might think otherwise. So to your question, would this be cloud or on-prem? We are open to suggestions. If it is on cloud, we just need to explain how we have to justify to IT how this is going to be secure. Although we know that most data centers by the large tech giants will be more secure than what we think. But yes, we're open. We're open to suggestions.
All right, and it all boils down to security, right? I mean, even if it's on cloud, you got to prove that it's secure and there's no chance of this data leaking.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Next we have from Chandra again. Request the client to have pre-medical checkup of the employee before joining the company.
Okay, that's a good point. So I think what Chandra means is that can we ask our clients that we sold our policies to get every employee to do a pre-medical checkup? Yes, in fact, I think it's requisite for most companies in Singapore to do a pre-joining medical checkup. So it's quite common, I would say.
Okay. And would this data be? I mean, I'm just imagining that some of our problem solvers might also wonder if that would be available to integrate into the system, the solution itself.
Okay, that's a good point. So now we want that data. We need that data. The problem is that data does not seem to be very complete. Not every client will be passing us this kind of data. Not every providers, health screening providers will be passing us that data in a very organized manner. But we need that data. So yes, if we can, we will make it mandatory. We need that data. It's important.
Okay, great. We have one from Raju again. We have, do you have standardized anonymization processes first the current data to reduce the re-identification risk, or do you want the solution to cover this part?
Okay, so I believe you're talking about the reverse engineering risks. I'm not sure how if you remove PII completely, you can re-engineer that. But if you can do that, then I think that would be a bonus. Just kidding. But I don't see how you can really do that if we remove all PIIs. Just by transactional data, I don't think you can really do so. So no, we do not need your solution to cover that part. If you know how to do that, wow, that would be interesting. Thank you, Raju. So I think he also asked a question about deployment. So we want to start off with Singapore first. And if it works, we will expand to other countries.
All right, great. So Singapore first, and then if not, then we'll go to other. I mean, if it's good, then of course it'll be expanded to other countries. Okay, great. I think there is an anonymous. I mean, there's an anonymous attendee who actually asks if you are already in discussion with your traditional tech providers who are providing a collaborative data platform, and if you are able to identify them.
Okay, so yes, there are tech providers in the market. If so, maybe know who they are. I think there's no secret to that. I think the common group insurance platform providers in the market are CXA. We have companies, platforms from like Mercer Darwin, which is a pretty big insurance broker. The usual big boys. So this is going to be David versus Goliath, I think. Yes.
Okay. All right. So I think, I mean, because this is this solution will be actually data will make and break this solution. So an anonymous attendee who's asking, solution and software is one thing, but sourcing data might come at some cost, maybe from other players. Yeah. Is the insurance company willing to fund those discussions?
Yeah, fantastic question. Fantastic question. Now, sourcing data coming at some cost from other players. So, well, you see, we are open to solutions that could be, well, creative out of the box. Yes, though you'll be fronting this as a tech platform, but if there's a way to get data in a structured manner, in a way that might maybe require some cost, I think we can explore how that works, because from what we understand, to be very honest, partners, wellness providers, partners, TPAs, telemedicine companies, they are more likely to be resilient in passing their data to us, because we probably need them more than they need. We probably need them more than they need us at this point in time. So we want them to provide services to our employees, but that doesn't mean that they will be willing to pass those transactional data back to us.
Right. Okay. Okay. Anonymous, I hope that was able. Keith was able to answer your questions. I guess there's no straightforward answer to. I mean, this whole where this data is supposed to come from. In the long run. So probably along the journey, it will be a trial and error across that bridge when you get there. Is that going to be the approach?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. All right. I guess that's all the questions we have for today.
Thank
Keith,
you.
thank you very much for your time, for explaining to us about the challenge as well as answering some of the questions. Thank you very much for your valuable time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm sure it's you know, our audience were able to benefit from your presentation. So thank you very much. Take care and stay safe.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you,
Keith.
Nas.
Thank
you,
you.
everyone.
All
Thanks,
right.
Keith.
Thank you. Hi, Manchong. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we close the whole thing, I guess that's all the time we have for today. Manchong, do you have any last words to share with the audience?
No. Those who have typed in the questions in the Q&A, don't worry, they are all not lost. What we will do is we will send them to the problem owners and they will answer it and we will post it on the forum. Yeah, so there's no need to repost the questions that you have already asked if you've typed them in the Q&A today. Yep.
All right, thank you, Manchong. So yeah, besides the questions that's posted, if you have more questions that you have not been able to ask, just go over to the OIP forums and then post those questions and they will be answered. All right, so that's where you engage the problem owners and that's where you find more information and answers of the questions that were posted today, like how Manchong, like what Manchong mentioned. All right, so viewers, thank you very much for your time. Unfortunately, this is all we have for you today. We've come to the end of our virtual event, but we'll be live again for next week's Innovation Thursday, featuring problem owners. The next session we'll have Patrick's Innovation, Ferrero, Infineon, Panasonic, and Warisan. Those different problem owners with their speakers will be explaining to you more about their challenges and answering questions during the Q&A session. So be sure to join us, same time, same place, in front of your computer next week for the next Innovation Thursday, also held virtually if you further notice. So feel free to sign up via the QR code link that you're seeing on your screen right now, or you know, you have that link there. You can also type it into your browser, and you can follow us on LinkedIn, SG:D space Pixel, or at IMDA for more of our upcoming events. Thank you very much for spending the afternoon with me, with us, with everyone at IMDA and all the problem owners as well as the problem solvers. Please stay safe, stay home, and until the next time, goodbye